Hey everybody, this is David here, aka Chessman, and today we're going to analyze a chess game. I've seen this game before, so I know it. I don't know what makes a great chess game, but what was great is how Magnus won it. He did it like Magnus Carlsen, where he pulls a rabbit out of his hat. Everyone else thought it was a draw, and he kept on and on and on and kept pressuring his opponent until he won. And it was the first. This was from the World Championship match in 2021. Magnus Carlsen, the champion, versus the the challenger Ian Nepomniachtchi. And this is Game 6. You've probably seen it, but we're gonna analyze it and just see what happened in the game, and then see where it all went wrong. I've uploaded it into game review on chess.com, so we're going to get the help of Levy here to help us figure out why each move was played. Basically, I'm trying to analyze games more in depth than the typical person. Usually, I think what I come across is when people analyze games, they skip over a lot of moves, and I'm like, well, why were those moves played? So I'm going to try to look at every single move. It may take a little bit longer, but I think we'll get a little bit more enjoyment out of the game. And so, yeah. And since I'm not a grandmaster, I'm using the help of game review. So I think this is something everyone should do. I get my games from 365chess.com. I look up tournaments, I look up players, and then I get games I think are worth analyzing, and I analyze them. So let's get started. First off, like I think I already mentioned this. Magnus Carlsen wins this game. If you look at the bar here, it's pretty even all the way till the very end. So you can see that it's a pretty even game. There's some hiccups here and there, but pretty much a solid game until the end. So who knows? It might be a very boring game until the end. But we're going to take a look at it and see if we can understand it. It says Magnus Carlsen played with a 96.3 accuracy, while Nepomniachtchi played with a 93.5, so a pretty high level game. A little bit more than for Magnus Carlsen, but still a pretty good game for Nepomniachtchi. It says Magnus played like a 3,000 level player, and Nepomniachtchi played like a 2,800, so very high level. Their opening accuracies were a 99.9%, or 99.3%. The middle game for Magnus was a 99.5% and a 99.6% for Nepomniachtchi. So it was right at the end game. The end game was a 95% for Magnus and a 92% for Nepomniachtchi. So it was just at the very end. So let's start the review and see what happened. Yeah, I'm more of an e4 player, but so I but d4 it also controls the center, so that's why it's played, and it provides an avenue for the bishop to come out. So I know that's why d4 is a good move. So let's go on to the next move. So it doesn't tell us why this move is a good move, except that it's a collection of openings defined by this move, the Indian game. So there's a bunch of openings from this move that you can go into. But it does develop piece, and it targets squares in the center. Maybe you want to play d4 at some point. And it stops white from playing e4. So develops a knight towards the center and strengthens the d4 pawn. That's what I got out of it.
D5 gains space in the center and controls the e4 and c4 squares.
Like you said, it controls these two squares. And now the bishop can come out.
Prepping that bishop for development. Let's get this show on the road.
Like it said, the g3 move is so the bishop can move to g2.
That readies the bishop for development. Smart.
I'm a little surprised because now this bishop can't get out. So are we going to be going this way? I'm not sure. But the bishop can now get out. So we already saw this was going to happen after the last move, g3.
The bishop joins the party. Classic developing move for black.
That just develops the bishop. Now we can castle.
That gets the king out of dodge and develops a rook. Two birds, one stone.
Yep, like I said, it protects the king, and now the rook can go to e1.
Both kings have castled. Now we're ready for the middle game.
So the same thing. Now the black king is safe, and the rook can now also get onto the e-file.
Textbook play. Following the greats, building a solid game.
Deciding to develop the bishop this way.
This is now threatening to tactically win a pawn.
And let's see what the tactic is. Take. And I'm honestly not sure how this wins a pawn because it looks to me like this can be taken a couple different ways. So, okay. But it said the best move was actually b6. So,
Even Steven trade. Nothing crazy here.
it just trades the pawn,
Easy recapture.
recaptures the pawn.
Solid central ground grabbed by white. That's how you open up those development lines.
Yeah, it makes sense to want to have openness in the center of the board for these two bishops.
This move is an absolute banger.
Doesn't say why it's a good move, but it says it's the best move. So I guess development isn't that important yet. I really don't get why this is a great move because now the pawn, I'm guessing, has to be captured with the c pawn, and then there's an isolated c pawn. But
Ooh, spicy. That pin is like a vice grip on that pawn.
nice. It pins the pawn to the queen, to the bishop. That was a nice move.
Developing smoothly, getting that queen into the game.
And defending the bishop.
White develops the knight and attacks the center.
Develops the knight, attacks the center. Maybe we'll capture with the knight.
Developing the knight and increasing influence in the center. Let's go.
Okay, so increases influence in the center, like we see.
What? A free pawn? You don't see that every day. What just happened?
Says it's a free pawn, but I believe it's the equal material now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to 6. Yep. So equal material.
Now there's a looming threat to tactically win a knight.
And let's see, is it just capturing the knight? Is that what it's going to tell us? Let's see. Almost, pretty much.
Gotta move that knight.
Alright, moves the knight out of the way in the center.
Gotta scoot that knight out of there. Pronto.
And now it's the best move. Attacking the queen.
Now there's a looming threat to eventually win material.
And let's see what the tactic is. Wow, that is a long tactic. I definitely wouldn't see it. Alright, let's continue.
That blocks them from trying to eventually win material.
Let's see what the tactic was. Okay, we just saw this, right? Yeah, we saw that.
That blocks them from trying to eventually win material. That pawn just kicked the knight. Gotta move it.
Kicks the knight.
Dodging danger like a pro.
Knight goes back.
Sharp move. They're not messing around with this one.
Doesn't want to trade knights, so attacks the bishop. Maybe you want to trade for the bishop.
This threatens to take an open file with a rook.
Okay, and also doesn't want to trade bishop for a knight, so moves it back.
Ooh, that pinned knight is feeling the pressure.
Develops the bishop, pins the knight.
This rook's got an open file and is ready to cause havoc.
So just the rook has a lot of power on the d file.
Solid trade. Keeps things even Steven on the board.
I guess this bishop wasn't doing that much, I guess. But I'm surprised you'd want to trade the knight for the bishop.
Spicy recapture.
Could have captured with the queen, but then queens would have came off. And Nepomniachtchi, I guess, didn't want the queens to come off the board. And I guess while this king is open, maybe without the dark square bishop, it's not that dangerous. These pawns are keeping the knights out, and this bishop's lined up in a different direction.
This open file gives the rook a sweet view of the whole chessboard.
So the black rook has control of the d file, the white rook has control of the c file.
This sets up the threat to tactically win a bishop.
To win a bishop. And let's see what the tactic is. Take. So threatening a queen rook fork, and the bishop has to give up itself. But it's still even material. It's still an even game.
Even Steven trade. Nothing crazy here.
So trades,
Recapture that.
recaptures.
Gotta move. Nothing wrong with getting out of danger.
Alright, so the queen got out of danger.
Even Steven trade. Nothing crazy here.
Bishops come off.
Activating the piece. Boom.
So activates the queen. But it's all even, so there's nothing.
Evading that checking queen like a boss.
So there's really no tactics in the air.
This is the best move.
So I guess just centralizing the queen. So this is a good lesson in what to do when there's nothing to do. When there's no tactics and no positional advantage, what do you do? And it's, I guess, centralizing your queen. This queen is more active than this queen. These rooks are probably the same. These rooks are probably the same. The knight and bishop are probably the same. Maybe the bishop's a little more active. Keeps this pawn pinned. But really, this queen is what is better. Is definitely better than this queen. So
Bullseye.
gets the queen more active. And we got to make sure that this pawn gets defended because this queen is attacking it.
Boom. Best move. Right here. Right now.
I guess gaining more space.
This move is an absolute banger.
Finally develops the other rook on the open file, just in case something happens. It's there. You gotta put your pieces on active squares, and then the magic may happen.
Solid move.
Just brings the king up. I guess there's no danger.
Spicy move.
Saying the best move was to move the pawn to e3, attacking the bishop. I think that looks good, but it's still zeros.
Finally, the rook joins the party. Black is ready to rumble.
Like I said, finally black got this rook into the game.
Capturing that rook will win material after all trades, folks.
Let's show the follow-up. So Magnus is willing to go into a game where it's the rooks versus the queen. Wow. That's exciting.
Easy peasy recapture.
Captures,
Capture that piece.
recaptures, and now what's the plan? It's still all even, but two rooks are supposed to be better than a queen when they're
Sharp move.
coordinated.
They're not messing around with this one.
Just keeping the queen centralized. You got to move. So it's also threatening this pawn.
Gotta scoot that pawn out of there, pronto.
Saves the pawn,
Gotta move that pawn.
locks the pawns up.
Look at this. This kicks the bishop. What's next?
Pawn kicks the bishop and gains a little more space.
Gotta move. Nothing wrong with getting out of danger.
All right, now what? I'm guessing you got to move this rook. Maybe back down here. Or, yeah, either that or f4.
This is the best move.
h4, all right. So there's really nothing to do in the position, so h4.
This gives the opponent the green light to activate the king by getting it off of the back rank.
Okay. Still doesn't seem like a big deal to me.
Alright,
And he
the king is
does.
getting off the back rank for endgame action.
Okay, still not a huge advantage.
Losing a bishop? Ouch.
Let's show the follow-up. I was wondering why it was a lost bishop without losing the knight, and that's how. Let's see if they played it.
Pretty sure this wins material. This misses a better way to move a queen to safety.
So didn't play the best move.
This misses an opportunity to connect rooks.
So did not go to try to win the bishop. I don't think.
Spicy. That pawn was just sitting there waiting to be snatched up.
So Jan actually went up a pawn.
Boom! A passed pawn. That's a powerful weapon.
Oh, but white gets another pawn. So it's all even again.
Boom! Black is gonna snag a pawn. What a steal.
Black is going to... Let's show the tactic. I don't see it. Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay.
Gotta get out of there. This misses an opportunity to win material because the defender is pinned.
Yeah, did not take the pawn. So it's basically all even again.
By playing this, they let the opponent win material because the defender is pinned.
Let's show the pin exploit. Okay, so black would have been up by a point.
This overlooks an opportunity to win material because the defender is pinned.
So again, the best move would have been to take this pawn because the knight is pinned to the rook. So they did not do that.
Connected rooks working together like a well-oiled machine.
Connected the rooks.
Bullseye.
Let's show the follow-up. So basically agree to a draw. Of course they did not.
What a move. Oof, black just went from even Steven to totally screwed.
Let's see show the follow-up. Wow.
This move is the only one that works. What a find.
Finds
Ooh,
the...
that knight is now in a safe zone.
Okay.
What? A free pawn? You don't see that every day. What just happened? This misses an opportunity to defend a knight that was under attack.
Did not play the right move. So basically the queen can take the knight and the rook can take the bishop.
Solid move, keeps things balanced.
Does not want to lose the bishop.
Threatening to tactically win a pawn.
Let's show the tactic. Very difficult. But there we go.
This prevents the opponent from being able to tactically win a pawn.
Okay. I'm going to show the tactic again. Okay.
This prevents the opponent from being able to tactically win a pawn. Boom, best move, right here, right now.
Alright. Attacks the queen and the pawn.
Gotta get out of there. Gotta move. Nothing wrong with getting out of danger. That passed pawn is sprinting to the finish line. This move is an absolute banger.
Again, doesn't really say why that's the best move, but it's kind of towards the center. Keeps an eye on this pawn, so...
Sharp move. They're not messing around with this one.
See, this game's a complete draw, but somehow Magnus wins it. That's amazing. We still have like another 80 moves. So this is definitely a lesson in how to just waste time. How to just keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, and waiting for your... Like how to keep the game going and waiting for your opponent to crack. That's what we got to learn from this game.
White just put the brakes on that passed pawn. The bishop is now vibing in a super active new spot.
Attacks the rook.
The rook is safe, thank goodness. Time to breathe.
Rook moves and puts a lot of pressure on this pawn.
Spicy meatball right here, yo.
This brings the king to defend the pawn, so now the queen can get off this file if it wants to, this row or rank.
Bullseye.
Says it's the best. There's just not much to do in this position except protect this pawn.
Ooh, that rook is now in a safe zone. What a move. Textbook stuff right there.
Are we gonna get a knight and bishop trade?
Boom, best move. Right here, right now.
Probably not, because it needs to defend this pawn.
This move is an absolute banger. Sharp move. They're not messing around with this one.
So they're just moving the pieces around. As long as this pawn's being defended and attacked, this pawn's being defended. Yeah, basically this knight can jump around. This bishop can go along this diagonal.
Solid move. Spicy move. What a move. Spicy meatball right here, yo. What a move. Textbook stuff right there.
Again, just moving the pieces around.
Solid trade. Keeps things even Steven on the board.
Gives up the pawn.
This is the best move.
Oh, for another pawn. Wow.
That's a slick escape from the queen's check. This overlooks an opportunity to move a queen to safety.
So it should have gone to g4 instead.
Gotta scoot that rook out of there, pronto. There was only one good move, and that was it.
Wow. Maybe because the knight was going to open a threat on the queen and attack the bishop. Maybe.
Bullseye. True, that queen is now in a safe zone. Dodging danger like a pro.
and defending the knight.
Dodging danger like a pro. Boom, best move, right here, right now. This move is the only one that works. What a find.
I don't know why that was the only one that worked.
This overlooks an opportunity to evade the check from the opposing queen.
Show the idea. Okay.
This overlooks an opportunity to evade the check from the opposing queen. Solid move. That pawn just kicked the bishop. Gotta move it. Whew, that bishop is now in a safe zone. This move is an absolute banger. Spicy move. What a move. The queen is safe, thank goodness. Time to breathe.
Yeah, they're just moving the pieces around.
That protects the pawn nicely.
There's nothing to attack. That pawn that was on a3 is gone.
Sharp move. They're not messing around with this one.
So they must be playing for time on the clock.
This is the best move.
But this is what, like I said, this is what Magnus does. He wins with magic. Or with God, whatever you believe in.
Not bad, but not brilliant. The rooks are connected. Now they're vibing and ready to coordinate. Solid move, nothing special. Solid move, nothing crazy here. This is now threatening to tactically win a knight.
Show the tactic. That would have been good for Nepomniachtchi.
This denies them the ability to tactically win a knight.
Right.
Solid move, nothing crazy. Spicy meatball right here, yo. Bullseye.
Like, to me, okay, so now the rook can't take this pawn, otherwise this pawn is dropping with a fork to the rook and king.
Boom, best move, right here, right now. What a move. Textbook stuff right there. Connected rooks working together like a well-oiled machine. This move is an absolute banger. Sharp move. They're not messing around with this one. Gotta get out of there. Solid move, keeps things balanced. This overlooks an opportunity to win material through a tactic.
Let's show them his tactic. Okay, that would have been interesting.
This overlooks an opportunity to win material through a tactic. Solid move. Gotta move that bishop. Gotta get out of there. This sets up the threat to win material through a tactic.
Let's show the tactic. Winning the rook.
Gotta move. Nothing wrong with getting out of danger. That pin is like a laser beam on the knight. No escape. They'll snag a pawn. Nice.
So when this bishop moves, they'll get this pawn.
Dodging danger like a pro. Spicy move. Gotta get out of there. Gotta move that rook. Gotta scoot that bishop out of there, pronto. Spicy. That pawn was just sitting there waiting to be snatched up.
Could have agreed to a draw there.
Spicy meatball right here, y'all. This threatens to tactically win a knight.
Alright, that would have won a knight.
Boom, a passed pawn. That's a step closer to promotion, baby. Spicy. That rook was just sitting there waiting to be snatched up.
Okay. Oh, okay. That's interesting. Magnus decided to go because I think he's going to win this bishop. But Still, it's going to be rook and knight. I remember this. Rook, knight, and 3 pawns versus queen and pawn. Very interesting.
There was only one good move, and that was it. Got a suit. That's a slick escape from the rook's check. That removes the attacking bishop.
And this is 0.31 advantage for Magnus. And black has a queen. That's amazing.
What a move. Not bad, but not brilliant. That's a slick escape from the rook's check. Spicy meatball right here, yo.
So, I mean, I don't know, I still don't understand how Magnus won this. Like, he has to promote and get a queen. That's what he has to do. How's he going to do it?
What a move. Textbook stuff right there. This is the best move.
Right, so it looks like the knight's in the best position it can be in. Unless it wants to go to e5.
Threatening to tactically win a knight.
I don't know how he'd tactically win a knight. I can see how he'd win a rook. But let's show the tactic. Oh, okay. Alright, glad we saw that.
That blocks them from trying to tactically win a knight. Threatening to win a rook through a skewer. This shuts down their attempt to win a rook through a skewer. That's a slick escape from the rook's check. Bullseye. Solid move. Boom! Best move. Right here, right now. Spicy move. This move is an absolute banger. What a move. That blocks the check from the opposing queen.
Wow.
True, that queen is now in a safe zone. Rook behind passed pawn. Classic support move. Spicy meatball right here, yo. What a move. Textbook stuff right there. Sharp move. They're not messing around with this one.
Trying to get a draw.
That defends the rook. This is the best move. Solid move. That's a slick escape from the rook's check. Bullseye. That's a slick escape from the rook's check. Spicy move. What a move. Not the sharpest move. Something spicier was on the table. Evading that checking knight like a boss. Boom! Best move. Right here, right now. That's a slick escape from the knight's check. This move is an absolute banger.
So all that work in the knight ended up back on d4. So nothing's happened in the last like 20 moves.
Sharp move. They're not messing around with this one. This is the best move. That's a slick escape from the rook's check. Bullseye. Spicy meatball right here, yo. What a move. Textbook stuff right there. Boom! Best move. Right here, right now. That blocks the check from the opposing queen.
We've already been here. So this is close to a draw.
The queen is safe, thank goodness. Time to breathe. Solid move. Solid move, nothing special. Looks like they overlooked the chance to move a rook to safety. Spicy move. The rook is safe, thank goodness. Time to breathe. That's a slick escape from the rook's check. What a move. This move is an absolute banger. That blocks the check from the opposing queen.
So no pawns have been pushed yet. So there's a 50 move rule that we might be coming across.
Sharp move. They're not messing around with this one. That passed pawn is on a mission. Gotta stop it.
Finally had to push.
Spicy meatball right here, yo. What a move. Textbook stuff right there. That's a slick escape from the rook's check. White's passed pawn is now safer. Solid move. That's a slick escape from the queen's check. That's putting pressure with a threat to create a passed pawn. Boom! A passed pawn. That's a powerful weapon. This is the best move. Evading that checking queen like a boss. Recapture, responding to the previous move. Spicy move. What a move. Rook power up. That passed pawn just got a VIP escort. Bullseye. Evading that checking queen like a boss. The piece is now vibing in a super active new spot. Boom! Best move. Right here, right now. Spicy meatball right here, yo. That blocks the check from the opposing queen.
I still don't see how white makes progress. I don't know.
Solid move, nothing crazy here. This move is an absolute banger.
See, we need a more advanced game review, which would actually tell us why this move is an absolute banger. Like, yeah. So that's my opinion. So there's still room for improvement for sure.
Sharp move. They're not messing around with this one. That's a slick escape from the queen's check.
I just want to see how Magnus wins this.
This is the best move. That blocks the check from the opposing queen. The piece on the move. Hello, darkness, my old friend. Evading that checking queen like a boss.
Like, when can white move his pawns?
Looks like they overlooked the chance to pin a knight to the king. That allows them the opportunity to pin a knight to the king. Solid move, nothing crazy. Bullseye. Activating the king for the endgame. First step complete. Nice. White lost the lead. Now things are closer to equal. Let's see what happens. They overlooked the stronger possibility to evade the check from the opposing rook. Solid move, keeps things balanced. Evading that checking rook like a boss. That passed pawn is sprinting to the finish line. Boom, best move, right here, right now. Evading that checking queen like a boss. Wow, white just flipped the script. Advantage city.
So it doesn't tell us why this was a bad move. But we're going to see.
Not bad, but not brilliant. From bad to worse, black's position is now losing.
But I don't know why.
That blocks the check from the opposing queen. Not the sharpest move, gotta be honest. That pass pawn is on a mission, gotta stop it. Not the best move, there was something much better available. Phew, that rook is now in a safe zone. What a move, textbook stuff right there. That's putting pressure with a threat to force eventual checkmate.
Let's show the checkmate. I could follow that checkmate. So I guess that's why Nepomniachtchi resigned.
This shuts down their attempt to force eventual checkmate.
Oh, okay.
Solid move.
And that's that. And yeah, Nepomniachtchi resigns. Let's show the follow-up. Yeah. I guess maybe you move the knight here so the king can't get into the f8 square, and then you promote the pawn. All right. So Magnus is going to get a queen and wins the game. All right, that was a pretty long game. I'm sorry a lot of the moves towards the middle and end I kind of went through fast. I honestly, it was like it was nothing happening, and I just don't see how I would have been able to diagnose all those moves. That's way over my head. And if I was using Levy to just tell us what he knows, and I'm saying Levy because this avatar is Levy. But I'm glad we got to see this game again. If there's any other game that you've come across that you think should be analyzed and reviewed, just let me know in the comments, and if I can find it on 365chess.com or somewhere else, somewhere where I can get the PGN, just let me know, and I'll try to do it. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe. I hope you have a great one, and yeah, just enjoy your day. Hope you have a great one, and I'll see you soon. Bye.